Coming up right now is a panel discussion that is entitled Race to Stay Relevant, the Case for Procurement AI Agents in 2025. We've got a moderator, a chairperson, Charlie from PASIA. Charlie, thank you for moderating this one. We all know Charlie brings an extensive experience in procurement himself and supply chain management across Asia Pacific. The guys coming up, Vinay Bonaker, Director of Alliances and Partnerships at TCS, Sam Achampong, Regional Director for CIPS, MEA and APAC, Jeremy Lilu, CRO at Trustpair. So, guys, thank you very much. Come on up. Let's welcome them to the stage for the session, and there will be a Q&A at the end, but we're moving along at a quicker pace now. So, thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Great to be here. Welcome to today's panel on procurement AI agents in 2025. I'll be moderating this session with fantastic lineup of experts over with me. So it's good to be here. So let's get this started right away without further ado. I would like to take into some, a question. CIPS has been very much European-based global organization, thought leader. From your perspective, how do you see AI-driven procurement agents reshaping procurement functions by 2025? This is now.
Okay, technology. Thank you. Great question. First of all, thank you for the question. Thanks for inviting me to. Thanks to Zycus. AI agents, interesting question. I think if you think about what procurement is, the first thing that AI agents do, or technology in general, the first thing it does is it allows human beings to have more ability to exercise our own technical, strategic, and analytical skills. So it takes away the burden of the more process-orientated things. It makes us more efficient. So if you think that in procurement, 80% of our effort in transactional effort for human beings, 80% of our effort is used addressing that 20% of our spend. So what this does is it takes away the transactional stuff and allows us to focus on the actual higher value spend without dealing with the transactional stuff. So it is a game changer. I wouldn't say agentic AI on it by itself, but AI and technology in general has been a game changer for procurement professionals.
Have you been seeing a lot of companies moving towards movement to this new technology space?
Undoubtedly, yes. I think, look, the reality is that where you have technology solutions in procurement, companies don't adopt it for adoption's sake. Because you can't transport one solution into a company without specifying it correctly. But there is now that the case has been proved, especially with AI, there is a greater shift towards companies using artificial agents because the use case has been proved. So they're not. What you don't want to do is adopt technology and have a less efficient process, and that's what used to happen with previous ERP systems. You actually implement an ERP system and you end up doing more things because you have a process that says you have to raise PR and PO and all, and you end up employing more people to do that. But the AI-based solutions have actually in real time improved efficiency and has led to more adoption.
Yeah, my wife was telling me last night that during my sleep I was talking about AI, agentic AI already. Maybe we had so much of this good stuff. Maybe I'll get into Jeremy. In the risk and compliance space, AI has been a game changer, isn't it? What key procurement challenges can AI agents solve that traditional systems and processes struggle with?
Thank you, Charlie. So as I know we are running out of time, I will try to be straightforward here. If we focus on the risk mitigation that AI can do, I will probably focus on two. The first one is any supply chain disruption, and I think just before it was highly mentioned, and how AI can help monitor and keep an eye on the vendor, on the suppliers in all the P2P chains. And I would say the second aspect where AI can help a lot is everything related to financial risk. What I mean by that, financial aspect is on the supply chain, but also in regards to fraud or anything that can happen in the payments, which is a bit more down the stream. And it's where I think AI have a massive impact, and we are starting to see it already.
Great, yeah, I'm sure you've got a lot of experience of that, knowing that you've been providing those type of solutions by your company. Fraud, yeah, quite very interesting. We see that a lot. In many cases, when I tour around the region, they say that in some countries they give money under the table. And they're referring to procurement. In other countries, they take money on top of the table. But in a very specific country, they get even the table. Anyway, I'm gonna turn this thing over to Vinay. TCS work closely with enterprises driving digital transformation, and we know very much your company on this space. But then, how can AI? We have a lot of large Asian companies here and multinational. How can AI really do and improve efficiency and decision making under this environment?
Yeah, thanks for that. Good morning, everyone. It's getting afternoon, and I know we are in between your checkout and break. So AI, operates in 3 levels. One, it helps in getting the data in a way where you can, assist the humans which are, performing different roles. The second way is it can do complete autonomous work. So you need to move from, how you are currently using your AI in different, whether it is a supplier onboarding, whether you're doing operations, whether you're doing contracting, all of that. And AI can really change the game. So 2 years back, and automation was already existing. Right? The automation today also exists in contract management, in invoicing. So when we looked at two years back, the invoice management was largely based on templates. You extract some data, put it in your systems. The humans still do a lot of work around the invoicing. But today, with generative AI, you don't need to do any coding. You don't need to have any templates on what invoices you get. Once you get an invoice, it takes all of that information, ties it back to your PR, PO, and in the entire process, and brings in all of, it can also take your SLAs against a supplier, tie it up, and bring it right up to the payment process. So all of the work that a lot of procurement professionals do throughout this journey is changing from taking one aspect of your work to tying it up end to end. So that's a great leap that generative AI has brought in this particular space.
Yeah, in 1997, I did implement electronic procurement very early. Nobody believed it was the right thing to do then. And I think we're still on the same stage where people are really trying to move on with a lot of AI, agentic AI and the like. And I think that they will be proven right if they actually get to adopt it. But then, let me turn on this question to you, Jeremy. The most important thing right now is to really get, prove to the sponsors and the stakeholders that procurement agents, or AI or agentic AI would really create a significant shift, in value. And what would be this value that could easily be scalable so that they can prove the business case and they can really pull in the money on the table to get their sponsors to really fund this type of undertaking?
I think here we should talk a minute about the people. And I think for me, one of the big leverage we can look after are the people we have in the team. All of us, we are under a lot of constraint in terms of resources. We have to make sure we manage the FTEs and the budget. And if you look yesterday on one of the slides that has been presented, half of an organization in the procurement in the future is seen to be covered halfly if we would put it that way by agent AI. But if you think about it, it's 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more in terms of productivity. And a bit earlier today, we spoke about how people now can start doing their own job. I think the example was about a chef, and a chef that is not doing his job. And it's the same in procurement. If you ask some people in the team, they will tell you that a bigger part of their day is actually not doing what they were expecting to do. So for me, the big shift to get a lot of quick wins will be to highlight to the people that thanks to AI, they will be focused now on added value tasks and interesting tasks instead of doing very manual basic tasks like they used to do.
Okay, and moving to that sharing, AI adoption is a challenge, you know. I think we will soon all get into it and overcome it. But how should procurement leaders right now manage change when implementing AI-driven procurement agents?
Yeah, that's a very important aspect, Charlie. If you look at the AI adoption, and if we learn from the mistakes that have happened in generally adopting AI, and specifically for procurement, in the last year, 2024, more than 1/3 of the AI solutions that were thought of actually saw the day of light in production. And why is that? One, the identification of the AI use case for any procurement function was not aligned with the right matrix that you want your procurement function to operate with. And that it was half-hearted commitment. There was no, in the examples that we saw today from Avoidance Power or from Telecom Malaysia, you see there is a commitment from the C-levels, the CPOs as well as the CEOs, to make sure that the AI is invested with not just your internal stakeholders, but your suppliers as well. And some of the questions are around how can we involve suppliers. So that is the learning that I see between the successes and the failures. So we need to really look at what we have observed in 2024, where the failures were more of proof of concepts being done half-heartedly, not having the right data strategy. Data is absolutely important, and procurement function, because it operates in a very, federated model, it has data silos. It does not have access to the data with respect to the supplier performance. You have to depend on your engineering teams or your business functions to provide you all of that data. Now, unless you have that commitment from all these stakeholders to get that data into your systems, you can't get generative AI to help you with tying up all of this together, reducing your manual efforts. So that is one of the key elements that I would say that these are the challenges. Get your stakeholder commitments, get your data strategy right, and Zycus has taken that leap in getting agentic AI, which brings in an end-to-end solution right from your data on to your autonomous. So I think that is one of the things that enterprises today have to keep in mind when they are looking at 2025 and how their return on investment on AI is going to be.
That's great. We're going to shift a little bit on a different landscape here, which I'm sure many of you are actually asking. We see a lot of AI, we see a lot of innovation, we see a lot of technology really affecting the procurement people. Then people were actually saying, oh, this can be done by this one, this can be done by that one. So I turn this thing over to Sam and say, Sam, what are the most relevant skills that we should actually putting on the platter for the procurement professional to really take on? Because we're not thinking about what skills are necessary today, but then what skills are really necessary to strengthen and make their companies really viable and survive, especially with trade wars, tariff, reverse globalization. What do you think should we really emphasize on?
I mean, I think I get asked this question all the time, and I certainly can't talk about the skills that are going to be used way in the future, but there's a few things about fundamentals here. With technology, we need smarter people. So there's a misconception that you need less people. I'm not going to say you need more people, but you need smarter people. That's a fact. For us in CIPS, obviously we manage a lot of things. We manage advisory services, but we also manage education. And if you look around the world, something like 200,000 people every year take CIPS qualifications. that's increased by 50% in the last 3 years. Okay, so that just shows you that actually educated and knowledgeable procurement people who can demonstrate their skills are growing. And that's because you need smarter people to use technology. So what are the skills they need? The fundamentals are needed, obviously. You do need to be a professional to do procurement, as you need to be in any other role. But I think with the advent of technology, you focus more on the non-technical skills. So people do need to have enhanced influencing skills. You know, along with your technical skills, you do need to have the ability to influence your stakeholders. You do need to be able to prove your case, to articulate your business case. That's vitally important because you can have the best category strategy, the best sourcing strategy. But if you're unable to sell that to your CEO or other stakeholders, then it's actually worthless. And the second key skill, I think the most key skill for procurement leaders at the moment is stakeholder management skills. You do need to be able to effectively manage stakeholders. So apart from the technical side, those two skills are the most, in our research, are the most highly weighted skills for procurement leaders right now.
Thank you, Sam. Very insightful on that. Well, we have a few minutes left. I'd like to ask this question to Jeremy. Jeremy, what is the boldest AI strategy, that you can actually take or suggest, in creating strategic value?
So I think if I will be a bit provocative in the boldest way to manage the team and implement AI in my team, I will tell them that, because I know it's a fear and it's something that some people may feel it and maybe not express, is like, I would say to my team, AI will not replace you, but companies and people using AI might. And I think I will tell them that because then there are two outcomes of that. First, you need to choose the right partners. And a lot of people talk about AI, and what we have seen, especially here with Zycus on the last day, is really promising. And it shows concrete AI applications that we don't see everywhere else. And the second thing is start with something. You need little steps that will bring little win, and then all the organization will follow. But if you keep trying to get a better solution, a better process, or a better usage of it, I heard a lot about data, but at one point you have to start with something. You never clean your data if you don't start and if you don't put the thing in motion. So again, AI will not replace you, but let's be careful because companies and people that will leverage it well might compete with you way more than they used to do in the past.
Well, we will get to see a lot of operational gains, right, with the use of AI, as you can suggest. For you, Vinay, how do you see AI agents creating strategic value for procurement, whether it's in the area of supplier innovation or risk anticipation or sourcing negotiations?
Yeah, I think the procurement landscape is changing in many ways. Today, you're not doing a supplier assessment based on just financial terms. You're looking at ESG parameters. You're looking at ethical procurement. You're looking at sustainability parameters coming into your supplier value chain, and you having to report all of that. Now, these are all of the factors which generative AI is capable of doing, especially the agentic AI, which Merlin has from Zycus. That is envisioned to provide all of this information. And these are not the operational gains. These are all futuristic, new, broadening scope of procurement as a whole, which also comes to Sam, your point about how you'll use scale up with your own procurement function today operating in a certain way, but taking on ESG as one of the parameters coming in, getting your suppliers to value it on ethical procurement. So all of these, AI can gather enormous amount of data for your supplier, for your contract, and provide you insights. So that's a great way for AI to assist procurement function in the broadening scope that we see today.
Great. Yeah, we've come to an end. We're right on time and in full. We've covered a lot on this session. I think AI agents aren't just tools, they're actually requiring a lot of mindset shift. Staying relevant means acting faster, acting now, thinking smarter, and like what you said, we need smarter people. So you ask yourself, bold agentic AI step will we all take to the next level. Thank you very much, and it's really a pleasure to host and moderate this, given the time that was actually given to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you very much.